Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners Board Work Session. It is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. It is 3:08 p.m. This session is set to go until 3:30 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting. We're at 3000 Pacific Avenue Southeast, room 110 for public virtual attendance. You may follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have County Manager Ramiro Chavez, as well as Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell and Assistant County Manager Rod Gelder. And we are discussing today CPA-21 Pogue Site-Specific Land Use Plan and Rezoning Amendment. Go ahead.
So for the record, Ashley Rye, Community Planning Manager. Thank you for that introduction. The project before you is a citizen initiated amendment, and it has been docketed since 2022. I'm joined here by Amelia Schwartz, one of our newer associate planners on the team.
Welcome aboard.
I know, hasn't been before the board too many times, but you'll see her more often in the future. And so I'm going to turn it over to her.
This is your first briefing today.
In your new role.
In your new role.
Yes, I didn't. I guess I didn't announce that in the last briefing.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. As Ashley just stated, I'm Amelia Schwartz. I'm an associate planner with the Thurston County Community Planning. And today we're gonna go over CPA 21, Pogue Site-Specific Land Use Plan and Rezoning Amendment. I have a pretty short presentation for you today, and in interest of time, since we're starting a little later, we can try to address questions at the end. So this project is from the 2022-2023 Comprehensive Plan docket. The property owner has requested to amend their land use and rezone a 1.5 acre parcel at 12625 Old Highway 99 Southeast. Currently, it is rural residential resource, 1 unit per 5 acres, and they are requesting neighborhood convenience commercial. We have had 4 planning commission work sessions with no official recommendation. So the location of this proposal, it's about dead center in the county. It is a bit southwest of Offutt Lake. It's really close to the community. So, and then we've got 3 options.
Really close to the community.
Really close to the Offutt Lake community.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So we've got 3 options that we presented to the planning commission, and they were split amongst the 3. That was why there's no official recommendation, because each option had a few commissioners.
Oh, they couldn't come to an agreement.
Yes, yeah, so each option did have commissioners supporting it, but we didn't have a majority for
But it
any
only
one
had
option.
3, each one only had 3 or something.
Yeah, there was no option that nobody liked, so. So option 1 is no change. We leave the requested parcel as rural residential resource 1 to 5, and we don't change it to neighborhood commercial. This does not change towards what the applicant requested. Option 2 was to change the applicant's property to the requested neighborhood convenience commercial. And that would result in a total of 1.48 acres changed from rural residential resource to neighborhood convenience commercial. This location is between an arterial road, Old Highway 99 Southeast, and a railroad directly. It's sandwiched directly between the 2, and if you can see the maps up there. One of the issues with option 2 is that it would create a gap between the land use designations. There is existing neighborhood convenience commercial to the south. You'll see the 2 parcels down in the corner of that triangle. And then we'd have a gap of residential between the 2. And then the issue with this as well is this doesn't meet the comprehensive plan's guideline for neighborhood commercial, which is a 1 acre maximum. However, there are multiple sites throughout Thurston County that are neighborhood commercial that don't meet that size guideline. So then the final option, option 3, is to change the applicants and the adjacent property to neighborhood commercial. So this would instead be a total of 3.68 acres, still between that arterial road and railroad. The But it would- neighboring proper, sorry.
The
Yes.
one in between.
Yeah.
So if you see now, we filled in that gap.
And what is currently on that site?
Rural residential resource.
I mean, in terms of the use, it's a business, right?
Yeah, they currently have an espresso stand, and a garage, I believe they use for their commercial car business. They have been contacted, they are interested in this option. They
so
view
it's
this
like- so-
favorably.
okay.
Yeah, that was going to be at the end
Okay,
of my
okay.
description of option 3. So they have been contacted, they were contacted early in the process, to let them know, hey, this is what your neighbor's doing, is this something you'd be interested in? And they are interested in it. But once again, this doesn't meet that 1 acre maximum guideline for neighborhood convenience commercial. So that is something that is to be considered and was a big point of contention for the planning commission. So in total, we've received 4 public comments. 2 were during the planning commission comment period and 2 were received after. All of them are in support of the requested neighborhood convenience commercial designation, but none of the public comments specified a preferred option. It was just in general support of the change.
Is that it?
So I'm sorry,
Ask questions.
sorry, I'll try to go a
We
bit
get,
faster.
we get shorted on our time to ask questions every presentation that we have.
Well, then I'll try to finish
Ashley,
up
you
so
did
you have
pretty good.
ample time. So some of the consistency concerns is that option 1 doesn't address the applicant or the commenter's preference. So it's both the public comment and the person who applied. They are all for this change, so option 1 wouldn't address that. However, option 2 and 3 don't meet the comprehensive plan's maximum of 1 acre for neighborhood convenience commercial sites. But there are multiple sites already approved in the county that do exceed that maximum already. So it would be keeping in consistency with what we've done before, just not what's in our comprehensive plan guidelines. It is consistent for neighborhood convenience commercial. In the comprehensive plan, it says they should be located between a collector or arterial road. It is right between an arterial road and a active railroad. Then another consistency is neighborhood convenience uses should be clustered. And so that's where option 2 is an issue because then you have that gap. And that's why option 3 we brought in to make sure that we didn't create a gap and we made sure to keep it. Can you see why there was some contention? Yeah. We tried to figure out a few options. Then another consistency is that it has minimal natural resource management potential and will have little detrimental impact on nearby agriculture, forestry, aquaculture, mineral deposits, or natural resource uses. So the site does have a mapped critical oak habitat, but a change of land use designation would not change the regulations that would be addressed for critical oak habitat. So the Planning Commission was unable to make a majority vote on any option. And they did issue a list of commissioner findings based on the 3 different minority opinions in their recommendation letter. Some of those findings included, some of the commissioners perceived a lack of community need for more neighborhood commercial. It was too large for neighborhood commercial guidelines. Some commissioners were concerned about the critical oak habitat. But then on the other side, some commissioners believed that it supported the local residents, that the location between an arterial road and a railroad was better suited for neighborhood commercial than for rural residential resource 1 to 5. And one of the other commissioner findings was that only comments in support were received. So next steps, we will be submitting an AIS to accept additional public comment on the 3 options, have a public hearing, hopefully hear from some more members of the public. And we're gonna give them the same 3 options since the Planning Commission was split on each of those. So the no change, the change just the applicant's parcel, and then the change of the applicant parcel and their neighboring parcel of their neighbors, to make sure we keep it consistent, don't create a gap. So, now, questions?
How come you didn't say that the adjoining properties are a gas station and a tavern that has about 100 people there at any given time?
Because that's in the staff report, and I was trying to keep it short.
Jeez. I mean, I can't understand why we wouldn't grant this, because the adjoining properties fall within everything you said. Around the county, there's something else, something else. They're right there, something else. Adjoining properties are something else. So, I mean, it seems like we beat ourselves over the head about bureaucratic stuff that we don't need to. I can't imagine for a second why we wouldn't grant this. So that's just my 2-second
Yeah.
remark.
So that will be yeah, absolutely an option for the board to go with an
Jeez.
AIS, a public
There's
hearing.
a
and
tavern, a big,
testimony.
you ever been there?
I
Big
know where
tavern.
it is.
Yeah.
Gas station and store.
Aren't these parcels across the street from that though, the tavern?
So, the
It's on the west side of
tavern
the street?
is in one of those, the red parcels of the existing neighborhood commercial right there. So you can be on the parcel in question and walk to
All 99's
it.
on this side.
It's on the
Yeah,
right
so
hand
they're
side.
So
all
what's
on
the
the same
thing
side
going
of
the
the
other way,
street.
the railroad?
Railroad.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it backwards.
Yeah.
This is a very depiction of this aerial.
Yes.
You see in the staff report. That
Aerial
really gives
will
you
help.
the triangle that we're talking about.
Yeah, it gives you the angle, but it doesn't show where the gas
It's a
station,
little
the
bit right there.
tavern,
It's right
the
there.
convenience store. I mean,
It's right
it's
there.
all
It's
right
right
there
there.
together.
Right there, right there.
I know, but that doesn't show it.
In the espresso stand, if I recall correctly, it's an approved permitted business. They went through the hearings examiner process.
And that's the middle
That's the middle
section
one.
that has
Yeah.
the,
That's currently zoned residential, but is used in
as
a
a,
neighborhood convenience commercial fashion.
So can we,
It's not your fault. Don't take it as your fault at all. I'm frustrated all the time with this bureaucratic balloon.
the whole issue about the comp plan saying 1 acre parcels, you're saying, well, other places have it, but like, what's our liability? I mean, if we, what happens if we just, can we be sued or challenged in some way for just doing something that's against
I
this
mean,
principle?
it's
that's
policy
set forth?
guidance. There isn't a, associated development standard for it. And it would be hard looking at all the other neighborhood commercial sites that are out there.
There are other
But it's not different than a street plan.
uses that don't meet
Yeah, I
that
mean-
standard.
No, it's,
The
but
majority
Yeah.
of neighborhood convenience commercial sites in Thurston County actually exceed that guideline.
So there's already a little bit of precedence.
There's
on
a
that.
history
Yeah,
already.
there's a
And
history.
there was a conversation by the commissioners, the planning commissioners, that maybe in the future, we actually just change that guideline, seeing as it's not
Right,
working. However, that wasn't a decision
because
on their end.
Because every single use, it really exceeds that threshold, so.
But I don't know, but that's not telling me whether or not the comp plan language predated those exceptions or came after.
Yeah, that's a
In
good
which case,
question, I
all
know,
the
yeah.
historical ones would be meaningless, because of course you're not gonna tear them down. But that means that we could still get in trouble if we were to now violate new language from the last comp plan update. That's what I'm asking.
I think a lot of them existed, like neighborhood commercial was a plan designation and zone that was created as sort of a layer to acknowledge that these businesses were in existence, and they used to just be commercially zoned. And then the county sort of created a few different commercial zones and applied this one to your smaller areas. When I quickly looked at, I couldn't find any particular reason or documentation around that 1 acre. That 1 acre requirement, like why they came up with 1 acre, because it didn't align with all the commercial that was already out there.
The issue of this oak habitat, it says the change of designation would not reduce environmental regulations, so is that, but I'm assuming that whatever habitat's there and whatever regulations are there, whatever these folks are trying to develop can be accommodated within the limitations that they're gonna have for this habitat.
Yeah, I mean, the development standards are
Otherwise they
are
wouldn't.
fairly specific for neighborhood commercial, and there'd be plenty of room on that site to meet those requirements, as well as protect the oak habitat, just like you would in its current zoning.
So we're going to White Oak?
Now, I'm not sure how it's mapped in our system is just critical oak habitat. I think they would
Yeah, I
actually
don't
need
think there's
a
not
environmental
oak on the
study
rock.
to figure out specifically which trees are there
Okay.
and
But there's oak in that geographical area.
Okay, so but if this proposal is approved, option 2, option 3, whatever. The property owner could develop this property and yet mitigate for any potential impacts of the protected oak habitat. That's what you're saying.
they're going to meet the same regulations they would if we kept the rural residential resource.
And then the folks on the planning commission who chose option 2, I think, what was their, I understand somebody who might want option 1 wouldn't also want 3, but my question is, the folks who wanted 2, why didn't they want 3? What was their concern about the middle parcel?
I think one of the general concerns is that we were really pushing that 1 acre.
Because the middle one's
Maximum
even
guideline.
bigger, because it's 3.6.
Yeah.
It was just too much. of a
Instead of
stretch.
1.48, then you're at 3.68 and you're getting further from 1 acre.
But are you gonna have a house between a tavern, a gas station, and whatever else they're gonna stick on the other one?
Yeah, apparently there's already.
It's
a,
already in commercial use.
commercial
Cruising
use.
coffee and some other.
Yeah.
There's already a coffee stand, so there's already a commercial use, so it actually,
It's got good coffee too.
Does it?
But yeah, it does.
so it's not conform, so it's, it seems absolutely, I don't wanna suggest anything, but option 3 seems to be, logical,
3?
yeah, logical from the point of view of, yeah.
Not that you're making a decision today
Yeah.
at all.
No, but I would say that something like this would be appropriate, depending on how the board, moves forward, would be appropriate to take a look at in the comp plan update, whether that 1 acre.
It really,
Was the
it really is.
permit granted for the middle part for that coffee?
Special use.
Special use?
Yeah.
When was that?
Oh, 1 was granted, I believe, in the 90s, and then I think the coffee stand special use permit was granted, I believe, in 2006, early 2000s. And it gets renewed, not the permit itself, but I think the business license.
Okay, my questions are, in option 1, it said the applicant does not provide a statement explaining how the redesignation would promote the general welfare of the community. So I'm just wondering why that wasn't kind of like addressed, right? I'm guessing the applicant came in and provided public comment.
Well, that was, the applicant did provide in their application and then some follow-up emails, why they believed it to be appropriate to the site, but some commissioners didn't find it.
Compelling and
Compelling, yeah.
Persuasive.
persuasive. Yeah.
But
Why
you did
could- why
submit a
couldn't-
justification.
Yes, and
Why couldn't we hear that, though, as part of your presentation? How come we couldn't hear what the applicant said?
well, it is provided in all of the documents, but I just had to keep my presentation kind of short.
To give you time for questions, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah.
It is,
The-
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
just the thing is, right, this is being a decision around zoning does not predetermine what the future use will be, right? That is a
Yeah.
separate process to come in.
And that is something that the commissioners, rightfully struggled with. They wanted to know the business that was gonna be established, and that really can't be part of the decision-making process, although I think the applicant did on their own share some information. So then there was a lot of conversation about whether what they put in there was what the community needed, but it's shouldn't
So
really be a
that's what the
factor.
conversation became about. Okay, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah, because that really threw off the commissioners. And of course, we can't hold them to that. We can only hold them to what designation we
I
give them.
think it was gonna be fish and tackle and a banjo store.
So, quick question, in terms of the process, so the next step is bring an AIS for the board to consider setting a public hearing.
Yes, so then we'd have more
Just
chance
be
to hear from the
talking
public.
So before that, I believe the board has the chance has the option to send to the public hearing only option 1, only option 2, only option 3, or all 3 options, or any combination within, right?
Yes.
So you have that latitude when you consider setting the public hearing, whether you want to include all options as suggested by staff, or just want to bring to the public hearing options 2 and 3, or just option 1.
Just 3.
Just three.
Yeah. So I just want to give you, clarify the options the board has in terms of what do you want to hear public comment on.
So, commissioners, The staff recommendation is to move forward with the three options for public comment. And a public hearing would be set at a future date. Or is there another recommendation?
I'd just soon just move ahead with option 2 and 3. I'm all for giving it to them. So that kind of, what does that show I'm biased?
No, that's your
I don't know, you guys,
It's your prerogative.
I just hate the bureaucratic process and watching all the delays.
Even if you just move forward with option 3, you will get comments
On the
about
whole thing.
inclusion. or
That's
your-
what I think is the right thing.
Because you already have a higher level of special use permit for the
Because that-
businesses in the middle.
I just put 3 out there and see what people say about it.
Thank you, that probably will be the best for you to
And
consider.
it'll solve
just
everything in one activity rather than the other
because
property owner
you
coming
will
in.
exactly receive comments on,
Yeah.
on everything.
Okay,
So then you're saying just
And
move
just
forward
put out
with
on
3, and then you're saying just with 3, okay.
So,
So get
AIS.
the AIS?
I mean,
Just
that
move
doesn't
forward with
lock
option
us
one.
into doing the 3,
No.
though, we can make an adjustment
no.
afterwards.
Because you have mighty full power.
Oh,
Allows
yeah.
you to
Okay.
do everything.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
3:30, we are adjourned, thank you.
And the next meeting starts right